And welcome back to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, J-Vaz, and you're watching the J-Vaz Show, music and entertainment. Got a special guest today from Pasadena, Texas. You guys been asking for it. We're making it happen. But before we get you there, make sure you follow us on all the social media pages at The J-Vaz Show. Check out the website, TheJVazShow.com, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at The J-Vaz Show. If you're an independent or an up-and-coming artist, submit your music to artists at TheJVazShow.com. All of the links are on the description of the podcast. And let's get right into this. Joining us today, like we said, Pasadena, Texas.
What's the deal, man?
You guys been asking for it, and we're finally making it happen. Sin, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, man? Hey, first I want to say thank you for having me here. Like I was telling you behind the scenes, man, this is my first stop for this year for my press run that I've never done a press run before, but this is like my first stop. So I'm letting you know as a man of my word, when anything starts to go good for me, this is going to be my first stop every time.
I appreciate that, man.
I really appreciate it.
Doors are always open. Like I say, it was just a scheduling thing, but we're making it happen now. We've been wanting to have you on. We chopped it up, I think, in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
We slightly talked about having you on, and we were barely moving in here, so that's why it was kind of taking a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But now that we're settled in for the most part, you guys can't see it, but you can. This wall is still white. We still haven't set everything up, but
it's getting there. It's getting there.
But we getting there, man. So yeah, man. We appreciate your time. Appreciate you making time for us today.
Yeah, man. I thank you for having me here.
So let's get right into it, man. You're from Pasadena, Texas. That's where you're from. That's where you were raised, or?
Yeah, well, man, I was born in Houston, but that's where my family was living in Pasadena. So I was born in Houston, brought to Pasadena, and I grew up there. The land of no heroes.
See, why is it called the land of no heroes?
I call it the land of no heroes because we don't really have nobody there that's really made it anywhere. Like in Houston, you got Zero, you got Trey. I mean, the list goes on. But in Pasadena, we have a handful of people that made noise, but no one really got to that point where it's like people know about Pasadena. When they think of Pasadena, the first thing they think about is Urban Cowboy.
Yeah.
And that's a movie from like the 80s or some shit, But man, when I grew up there, it was nothing but gang banging, like that was a city. That's why I call it the land of no heroes, because we don't have nobody that really did anything that can inspire the youngins coming up to make them say, hey, look, this guy came from where I came from, and he made it. He did something, We have a handful of people that did something, but not to where it's recognized,
Yeah.
So that's why I say that.
And I was about to ask you, because, we've had like two people so far, and then you obviously from Pasadena. And, I'm not too familiar with Houston, period. But every time I asked them, what's the difference between Houston and Pasadena? They were like, it's still Houston. But now that you say, like, no, not really. Like, we're still our own entity, basically.
Yeah, it's real complicated. Like, in Pasadena, we show a lot of love to Houston. We look at Houston pretty much like the big brother. And Pasadena is like the little brother that's kind of like there, but you still have to do certain things to get the recognition from Houston,
Yeah.
So that's why it's like that.
So, since you just touched on not really having heroes or people to look up to, who were you influenced by when you got started, since you were basically raised in Pasadena?
Man, I was listening, like the first rap song that I ever really remember hearing was Tupac, Brenda's Got a Baby, and that was from MTV, turning on the TV coming home from school. My mom, I came home from school, I'm pouring cereal, and she's watching some kind of like novella or something, and she tells me I could change the TV, and I remember changing it, and that's the first song that I ever seen. Before that, all I knew was Spanish music and country music. I was a little kid, so I wasn't really into the music. But when I heard Tupac, I was like, man, that's badass. That's something I wish I could do. And as I got older, I just got more into all the rap music that was being played at that time. But once I got to like 6th grade, 7th grade, that's whenever I was really hearing about like SUC, Dope House, and everything. Me and my brother used to fight for a DJ Screw CD that he had. So it was just like, I grew up pretty much off everything that was already out there, Biggie, Tupac, all the big artists of that time. But like home, I would say like SPM was the first person where I was like, pretty much like 6th grade, 7th grade, and I was like, man, this is badass. Like we got a Mexican rapper, like of course, like I love Tupac, Biggie, Big Pun, like everyone you could think of, but just knowing somebody that's like me, a Mexican, like from here, it was just like, damn, like if I ever do this music, that's who I look up to,
Yeah. Shit, I just became your #1 fan just because your story alone. You basically told how I got into music, basically. Being a kid, listening to Spanish music, like you said, Los Temerarios, Tigres del Norte, shit like that.
Yeah, hey, that's my dad, man. Like I'm driving around with my dad, and that's all he's playing with the music all the way up. Nothing but Spanish music. So of course you're gonna like what your dad likes. But it was different connecting to something like Tupac. Like.
So, as far as that's when you got introduced to hip hop, with Tupac. But when did you started to want to make music? At what point you were like, you know what, this is something I want to do, something I want to pursue, and actually got started?
Yeah, man, I was like, I want to say I was like 15, and at the time, like I was going through some like, well, my family was going through some real shit. Like my mom, certain things happen. I come from a broken home, so my parents were like off and on most of my life, my childhood. So around 15, some shit happened. My mom, she ends up getting locked up. She does some time, and while she's there, me, I'm the oldest brother of four. So the house was pretty much my house. My dad, he worked a lot, and he would just tell me all the time, look, you can have your friends over, y'all could do whatever y'all want, just don't get in no trouble, and make sure you look after your brother and your sisters. So me, I was the big brother that's like, I don't want to run the streets right now. I don't want to do nothing. I got to stay home and take care of my family. So all my friends from the neighborhood, I come from a neighborhood called Red Bluff Terrace, and there it's like, growing up, it was real tight. Everyone in the neighborhood, you couldn't be from a different neighborhood and come and hang out with us. You had to be from our neighborhood. So everyone in my neighborhood came to my house because they knew, hey, this guy got the house to himself. We pretty much would have like house parties, and just a bunch of people were always at our house. But one day, my boy Rigo, he comes over and he's just like real into wanting to freestyle for some reason. And at this time, man, like I wasn't trying to rap. I was like pretty much pissed off, wanting to fight every day. That's all I wanted to do, like to take my anger out. But when he came, we would smoke a lot of bud. And he came one day, he's like, we had this karaoke machine that belonged to my little sister, and we just had regular music. We didn't even have beats. We were playing like Bone Thugs and like just normal songs. He picks up the mic, starts rapping. We're all smoking in there, and he starts getting all of the homeboys that are in there to pick up the mic and rap. And he tells me, "You're gonna rap after this person raps." And I'm like, "Fuck no, I'm not rapping. I don't do that shit." Like I really was talking some shit because I
Yeah,
I was more embarrassed. Like, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna say on the mic? But after I smoked enough, and the beats just hitting me, I'm like, man, okay, I'm gonna try something. I started rapping, but at the time I was real into Bone Thugs, so I was doing a fast flow. Everybody was doing what you would say like the screwed up click kind of flow,
yeah,
kind of to the beat, just chill. Me, I was like just rapping fast. And when I seen the reaction to all my homeboys, that's what was like, oh shit, maybe I can do this, maybe I can rap. So from that point, it was just like every day, all my boys in the neighborhood would come to my house, and we just started getting to like forming a little group and just rapping. We started getting instrumentals off the internet. At the time, it was like LimeWire or some shit.
yeah,
You download the beats from there. We got our first handful of beats, and from there, I just started. I didn't even know how to write songs. I used to write like, if you look at a piece of paper, you have the margins. I used to write all the way to the end, and then the next, just, like the whole page was
yeah,
full. And every time I would try to rap, I couldn't do it because it was just too much shit. But that's pretty much how I got started, just having fun with my friends, like smoking bud and just playing music. Just
yeah,
that's how the rapping came. It wasn't nothing like one day I just woke up, hey, I want to rap. It was pretty much pushed on me. And every now and then, I don't see him all the time, but when I see him, he's always like tripping out. Like, damn, you out of everybody, the person that didn't want to
that
fucking
didn't want to
rap.
do it.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
What was your first song ever recorded? Like an actual, not professional studio, but your first song that you actually recorded, and you were like, all right, this,
Yeah, I remember that. It was at that time too. I was 15, and it was pretty much like the second or third day. Once we got the instrumentals, the first instrumental I ever recorded on was "I Got Five on It" by the Loonies, and I made like three different songs. I had a song for my mom, I had a smoking song, and I had some other song that was just like some other shit. But
yeah,
that was my favorite instrumental. The beat is just like real laid back and chill, but you can go at it so many different ways. That was the first song that I remember ever writing. The first song that I wrote actually was for my mom, and then I wrote like a smoking song. It was kind of like a Five on It remix, but my version.
yeah,
And that was my first song ever. But from there, I started getting other instrumentals. Like I remember uh, Scarface and Tupac, that instrumental. I can't remember the name right now. Smile. That was another instrumental. Fat Joe, My Lifestyle. That instrumental I wrote songs on. But from that point, I was writing songs, but I didn't really have the experience of how to actually write the song the right way. Cause like I said, I was filling up the margins all the way. It wasn't nothing like professional. Like right
yeah,
now, I got it down. I don't even write nothing. I listen to the beat for a while, and then the words just come to me because I've been doing this for so long. I
yeah,
was 15. I'm 32 right now, about to be 33. So all these years of me doing that, like I don't know, I feel kind of like it got so easy to me that I can just the words come out without
yeah.
me having to force anything. But yeah, man, I was 15 when I wrote my first song.
So, being that it's been what, 15, what, 17 years?
Yeah.
how do you feel you've improved as an artist? You know, besides the writing part, how do you feel you've gotten better since then?
Man, I would say in every way. Like at first, we were rapping over other people's beats, and I started wanting to learn how to make beats because I got tired of us. Everybody in my side of town, that people used to, everybody just started rapping out of nowhere. There was groups, people were putting out mixtapes and stuff, and I got tired of getting the mixtape from someone else and seeing they use every beat that we used.
Yeah,
So it was almost like, damn, there's really no creativity whenever you're using the same thing everybody else is using. I started making beats because of that. So that's one thing I would say. Me making my own beats, writing, like the format, it got easy, but I learned the actual writing format from another cat when I was 16. Me and my brother, we got our first like independent, I guess you could say like our first indie record deal. We got signed by another cat that was like 21 years old. I was 16, he was like 14. And we went to Corpus Christi for the summer because my mom was living there. And we met this cat named John Chris, aka Pop, and he was like had his own record label. This guy knew everything about independence. Like he would make his press up his own mixtapes, record everything in his closet, do everything the right way, and then he'd go to the flea markets and he would sell his CDs to these CD like these people that were selling CDs. He would sell his CDs like if he was a big rapper. He showed me and my brother how to write the rhymes the right way, how to record. Because before we had one mic and you have 10 people around, you're trying to record your part and you're trying to pass the mic. So while you're still spitting your shit before they get
before
it,
that,
you know?
yeah,
And it was a like a real big. It was kind of hard to do that. But when we went to this guy, man, he was one person at a time in the booth. He showed us how to double up on the recording. He showed us how to do everything the professional way, so that really helped me out. And that was the main thing that pushed me to learn how to get better
yeah,
with my writing, with my recording, and then my beat making. And I learned how to make beats from being in his studio. He had me and my brother actually writing rhymes to a song, but the software he had, it like had these little setups on the bottom where you can mess with the beats. And I remember I just started messing with the beats. He comes in and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? You're supposed to be writing rhymes." And me and my brother were just like, I didn't even know what to say because I'm like, man, I'm supposed to be writing rhymes. I shouldn't be messing with this shit. But from that point, it was like I want to learn how to make the beats. And then once I told him, he told me the program where to buy it at, and I just spent every day from that point messing with it to learn how to make beats. And I got it down because like I said, I wanted us to have originality, like original beats.
yeah.
So it was just my beats, my songwriting, the production, and learning how to be professional as like a as an independent artist. Like those are the main things I would say that what I
You've
improved
improved.
on. Yeah.